In today's video, I'm going to take 21 stand-up comedians and rank them on a tier to see who's the GOAT and who should have gave this up long ago. Let's jump in, shall we? If you haven't already, please sub to the channel. I'd love that. We're almost at 150. I'm at 148 and it is Thursday, 7:47 p.m. August 14, 2025. I'm hoping to get 1 million by next week. So moving along, the rules are as followed. This is based specifically only on their stand-up, so it doesn't count things like their sketches, podcasts. Crowd work as well is a major thing as part of this, because a lot of the stand-up comedians in this list do have a lot of crowd work based things. It's based off their material quality, how good is what they're speaking about. Number 3 is their delivery and their stage presence, how well they can tell the jokes and how well they can capture a crowd and immerse them on stage. Oh. And number 4, this list is completely subjective, so some acts I'm partial to and I've watched time and time again. Some of these I actually haven't seen at all, so this is going to be interesting. And I should also tell you, and this list doesn't contain all of the stand-up comedians in existence. I might be missing some of your favorites out. If I'm missing any of them and you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments and I'll put them in another one. I should also say that most of these clips that I gathered, they're going to be usually a minute, sometimes over a minute, just to kind of showcase the stand-up comedian themselves. I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably not based solely off of the footage that I've got in this presentation. It's just kind of what I sourced for you to get a sense of what this stand-up comedian is like on the stage. And so my ranking system is going to be pretty historical, and it's going to be based off of what my thoughts are on the stand-up comedian. So without further ado, let's start off with Kevin Hart. Let me just, before I do that, hang on, Kevin. I'm just going to put this in full screen. Killer. All right. That was good. So let's begin with Kevin Hart.
I had to take my son's phone from him, which is the worst thing you can do to a child. As soon as I took his phone, he immediately turned into a crackhead. I snatched the phone, he broke down. He said, "Come on, daddy, don't do me like that." He started moving, then don't do me like that. When I take the phone, I say to myself, you know what? I need to go through my son's phone. Put the code in the phone so I can see what you've been talking about. Straight face, my son said, "Nah, man, I ain't gonna do it." I said, "What?" "Boy, put the code in the phone before I punch you in the fucking throat." That's what I said. I said that. He took off running. Swear to God, from downstairs, all I heard was, "Fuck you!" Oh! I'ma kill him. I'm about to kill him. I start choking the shit out of my son. "What the fuck you say to me?" He couldn't breathe. Ah! The code is "fuck you."
Kevin Hart is one of those guys that dominated the 2015, 2016 beginning of things like Vine, and when YouTube really started to pop off in its popularity. Stage presence, amazing. There's no one better than Kevin Hart in the way he carries himself on stage. In terms of his material, it's not particularly someone that I would really go to watch or listen to. It's not really my kind of style. He's quite in your face and obnoxious, lots of screaming, as you could probably tell. I'm a big fan of vocal quality and the way someone sounds. If they sound smooth, I'm much more likely to watch their specials on repeat. And you probably see this come up in this list. So, and for me, I mean, I hate to say it, but Kevin Hart's voice is pretty annoying to me. But in terms of his impact and the fact that people love him around the world, there's no denying that he is great at what he does. I think that he's pretty thoroughly deserving of being very funny. He is very funny, don't get me wrong. Just not really my flavor, if that makes sense. Let me change the image size. Yeah, that better. You can see him all like that. Perfect, Mark, perfect. Next, we've got George Carlin.
And this ain't just ranting and raving. This ain't just blowing off steam. I got a little evidence to support my claim. It just seems to me that only a really low IQ population could have taken this beautiful continent, this magnificent American landscape that we inherited. Well, actually, we stole it from the Mexicans and the Indians, but hey, it was nice when we stole it. It looked pretty good. It was pristine. Paradise. Have you seen it lately? Have you taken a good look at it lately? It's fucking embarrassing. Only a nation of unenlightened half-wits could have taken this beautiful place and turned it into what it is today, a shopping mall. A big fucking shopping mall. You know that? That's all you got. That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall.
George Carlin, or as Brendan Schaub calls him, George Carlton, one of the best of all time. There's no denying his star power and how much influence he had on stand-ups today. A lot of his stuff you will find mostly 40 to 60-year-olds on Facebook reposting, and he makes a lot of points about the state of the world. At the time he was speaking, this would have been probably the mid-2000s, if not a little bit earlier. I think this stand-up special came out. But he raises a lot of points that still apply to this day, and his stuff is evergreen. It's highly rehearsed. His material is very poetic, and he tends to meticulously pick out every single word in his stand-up specials. And as purely as the craft goes of stand-up comedy, there's no one better than George Carlin. He's going in the GOAT. We got an early one. He's definitely one to listen to. He gives me that old hippie vibe, like he's old and mad hippie, I should say. But yeah, he's one of the GOATs, super influential, a great person in the world of stand-up. Who do we got next? Let's see. Taylor Tomlinson. Never actually seen her perform, so we'll see how interesting this is.
Don't call you things like cute or hot. They call you things like stunning, gorgeous, shit with syllables, things that would take a 20-something guy a little while to sound out. And older guys aren't like cute or hot either. You know, they're handsome, distinguished, like old pictures of your grandpa you shouldn't look at too long. You ever find one of those in an old dusty box? You're like, who is that? Oh, that's wrong. Okay. They're not your family in those pictures yet. They're just the past. It is a gray area. Oh, I'll get weirder. You ever see a picture of your parents when they were young and hot and you get like weirdly mad because you know they would have never dated you? I saw a picture of my dad in college football once. I didn't talk to him for 3 weeks. I'm like, you would have left me at a drive-in, you Danny Zuko piece of shit. He's like, what? I'm like, I can't hug you for a year and I don't want to talk about it.
I really enjoy that. That was Taylor Tomlinson, really good. I'm quite unfamiliar with her material and her stand-up, but as far as a minute goes, and I'm pretty sure most of these clips have been taken from their own YouTube page. Really, really good, very strong material. I'd like to see an hour of Taylor Tomlinson. I wouldn't be able to necessarily call her the GOAT without actually seeing most of her stuff perform before, but that's just very funny. Very, very funny. And the way she speaks, I love her cadence. Excellent. It's a big thing for me. I don't know why. Akash Singh. Okay, let's go.
I'm kind of scared to have a son because I grew up in the 90s and we were never taught back then how to be soft with other men. So I'm worried I won't be able to access any softness for my son. With a daughter, that would be easy. Like if my daughter came up to me and was like, Daddy, I'm sorry I failed my math test. That's not going to happen because our daughter will be Indian, but like, let's live in this candy land if we can. And hypothetically, my daughter is like, oh, Daddy, I'm sorry, I failed my math test. It would be easy to be like, listen, baby girl, there is no failure, there is only learning. So as long as you learn from this and you give me maximum effort from here on out, I do not care what the numbers say. That's going to take you further in life than any good test grade will. But if my son was like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry, I got a B on a math test, I'd be like, obviously, dumbass, fucking idiot.
Yeah. That wasn't a very strong set. I should say a strong couple of jokes from him. Akash Singh is a weird one because he's on that Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schulz, and Andrew Schulz is quite a successful comedian, and Akash Singh seems like he coasts off of the success of his friends. Not to say that he's not successful, because he is. He's much more successful than me. But as far as his stand-up goes, that's a pretty weak joke, pretty unmemorable. I've seen his, I think it was the thing with Apu, and he's defending how Apu was a great symbol for Indian people, and I think that was a really good set. I watched his recent stand-up special, and it's pretty samey, pretty lame. This reinforces some stereotypes. Storytelling quality, not great to me. Yeah, look, not my flavor. I would say not bad. I don't think he's that terrible, but he's okay. And he has a great market and millions of people follow him, and good on him. There's a flavor. There's a flavor for everyone in stand-up. And just because I don't like that flavor doesn't mean that that flavor's bad. So just remember that. Who's up next? We got Billy Bitch Tits. Okay.
I saw this story down in Orange County, California. This guy gave helicopter tours. 30 years without, hands the business off to his son. The American dream. I built it up for 30 years. Here you go, son. Make the family and the family name proud. All right, Dad, I love you. Right? This poor kid, 5 days in, He's supposed to give a tour to a couple, only the dude shows up. The kid thought it was weird, but he's like, I need the money, I gotta give him a tour, right? So he takes this guy up. 10 minutes into the tour, the dude fucking jumped out. Yeah. 5 fucking days later, this kid, he probably barely had the speech down. Just sitting there flying the helicopter. All right, if you look out the left side of the aircraft, that's Orange County. There's over 27 miles of beaches. Put your seatbelt back on. 27 miles of beaches. Was established as a county in 1903. Sir, please don't open the door. Sir, what are you doing? Sir, no, don't! No! What the fuck? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
That is one of his best jokes that he's ever told. And the full version of it, you have to look at it and listen to it and watch it for what it is. Because he basically tells the entire story from the perspective of the helicopter instructor, the helicopter tour guide, however you call it, and from even the person jumping out of the helicopter. It is one of his best stories. I could listen to Bill Burr talk for hours and hours. He's great perspectives. He's very balanced. You know, he's one of those guys that just seems in the middle about everything. And he just seems like a really fun voice of reason. He is an absolute essential for anyone who's looking at enjoying watching stand-up. He's got some of the greatest points, some of the greatest jokes. He is one of the GOATs. He's one of those people that anytime he releases a special, you just have to go and see. Incredible work. He's completely down with his shtick. He knows his stuff. He's great. Who's next? John Mulaney. I'm not very familiar with John Mulaney, but I do know of some of his bits. Let's have a little go.
My dad never hit us. My dad is a lawyer, and he was a debate team champion. So he would pick us apart psychologically. One time I was at the dinner table when I was like 6, because I had to be. My dad goes, "How was school today?" I said, "It was good, but someone pushed Tyler off the seesaw." "And where were you?" "I was over on the bench." "And what did you do?" "Nothing, I was over on the bench." "But you saw what happened?" "Yeah, because I was over on the bench." "So you saw what happened and you did nothing?" "Yeah, because I was sitting over on the bench." Let me ask you this. In Nazi Germany, when people saw what the Nazis were doing and they did nothing, were those good people? "Oh no, those are bad people. You gotta stop the Nazis." But you saw what they were doing to Tyler and you did nothing because I was over on the bench. And then my dad said, "Just explain to me this. How are you better than a Nazi?" And then my mom said, "I made a salad with craisins." And the conversation ended.
Look, I think the story fell a little bit flat, but it was a great story. I'm sure there's more to it because this is only a short from comedic genius, and I'm sure they would have cut out all the good parts from it. But John Mulaney he's like a gateway for theater kids to get into stand-up comedy. I know that for a fact. The way he dresses, the way that he speaks, his prose and stage presence is second to none. I really enjoy his stand-up quality. At this stage in his career, he's probably at a point where he's starting to become very influential for a lot of people. But I think that he still has potential, and it sounds so weird. I feel like I'm one of those like scouts. Yeah, he's got potential. He could do a whole lot better. But yeah, John Mulaney strikes me as one of those people that seems like he's getting better with age, and I don't think he's peaked yet. And for that reason, I feel like John Mulaney goes into the very funny category, if not slightly as a GOAT category, because he's now starting to open up things about addiction and loss and things like that. And that's really enlightening to see for someone like him who has a stage character and persona as someone who's very well put together, dressed up nice, speaks very eloquently. Only nothing but up for him. And yeah, he's definitely got potential to be one of the GOATs. Look at me, I sound like I'm a fucking expert. I did open mics for a year in South Australia. What do I know? Anyway, we're going to go to Sebastian Maniscalco, so let's have a listen.
My buddy, this guy got a lot of weapons at us. Got a compound one arrow. He's got this thing in the house. I go, "John, what the hell you got this in the house for?" He's like, "You kidding me? It's for home invasion."
Good job.
Could you imagine the poor bastard that breaks into my buddy's house? The burglar thinks nobody's home. He comes through a kitchen window. My buddy hears him. He gets out his bow and arrow. He suspects nothing. He's stealing valuables. Then, out of nowhere, do you know the mind fuck on this?
Sebastian Maniscalco, for me, I think is a little bit divisive. And I think his material is great. I love the physicality from it. He found a method that works for him, and that's being extremely physical and doing very obvious gestures in pretty much all of his jokes, and that's what makes him work so well. He released a special, I think it was, he's dressed in a tuxedo and he's doing Vegas, and he kind of dials the physicality back, and his material is super hampered by it. It needs the physicality, and he's very funny, very, very funny comedian, excellent to listen to. He tells great stories. I read his book. It's a great book. For me, he probably doesn't belong in the GOAT category, but he is certainly someone that's very funny. I know a lot of people wouldn't like the fact that a lot of his jokes pretty much rely on that physical comedy. But it's one of those things where live and in person, second to none. It's a great theater experience, shall we say, great stand-up experience. Not necessarily a pure stand-up comedic performance, if you know what I mean. And I feel like a few people would argue that his stand-up isn't actually great because he relies on the physicality, but it's my fucking list. So then we got David Lucas.
As soon as I moved to Texas, I was like, man, I'm about to move to an all-white neighborhood. And my second day being in my all-white neighborhood, my neighbor, she called the cops on me for walking my dog. And when the police came, they were like, we are so sorry. And I'm like, nah, man, that did a good job. Keep calling the cops on niggas that look like me. We got to keep this neighborhood safe. I'm just a horrible neighbor if you black, man. Like, for real. Don't invite me to your loud barbecue. I'm going to eat your shit up, then call the cops on your I'm like a Karen, but I'm black, so I guess I'm a Darren, you know what I mean? I'm just so out of touch with black now, man. Like, I hang around too many famous white people. I hang around Rogan eating elk meat and Tony Hinchcliffe. We don't know if he's a man or a woman.
This is from his uncancelable special, which someone made a critique. The Elephant Graveyard made a very, very funny critique of it, which ended up getting more views than the actual uncancelable YouTube special. From all the stories that I've listened to of David Lucas and historically how there's a rumor, allegedly he choked his girlfriend at one point and almost killed her, and he thought that was funny. It's not. It's not funny at all to joke about something like that. I think the first joke in his uncancelable special is about how you can't beat up women like you used to, something along those lines. But he strikes me as someone who wants to be like Patrice O'Neill, but lacks the effort and the funniness and really anything of what it takes to be like someone as good as Patrice O'Neill. I don't enjoy David Lucas's stand-up. I don't think he's funny. He does the roasts on Tony Hinchcliffe's Kill Tony. And we saw that he did a roast battle with Harlan Williams and got absolutely slammed by it because David Lucas tends to rely on a lot of homophobic jokes and, you know, pretty low-hanging fruit. And he seems very lazy to me. I'm going to put him in Why Do You Do This? I don't find him very funny at all. And the whole thing about him assaulting, you know, his girlfriend, women in general, that ain't cool, brother. That ain't cool. Now we got Richard Pryor. I think I spelled Richard Pryor wrong. I definitely spelled Richard Pryor wrong. Hang on. My bad. Richard Pryor.
I worked at a mafia nightclub in Youngstown, Ohio. I was 19. I was 19 years old, right? And I didn't know shit about them. My father was the bad guy, so the mafia didn't mean shit to me. I did not relate to the mafia. Right? And I worked with this lady, Satin Doll. She was the star of the show. Beautiful black stripper, right? Because usually in those days they had in clubs singer, stripper, and MC. I was MC, and she was the first black star I ever met. Satin Doll, Jack. Because Duke Ellington had written a tune about her. You know, that's what she used to dance to and act. Beautiful. She was 60 then. Oh, this bitch was fine though, man. I'm not lying. Lena Horne didn't have shit on her, and she was crying backstage. I got to leave me. Club owners. Well, I said, oh, they're gonna pay me that. And now this is how ignorant I was. I had a cap pistol. Them blank starter pistols. I busted into the office with this motherfucker in my, all right, give me the money, motherfucker. Doing this black shit, you know that shit usually scare whitey to death. And these motherfuckers didn't do nothing. And I'm sure that those men are sitting in that room today laughing. Because that's what this dude, this fucking kid. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Tony. Come here. Hey, Tony, come here. Stick up. He's got a pair of goosies on him, huh? They like to hug you and rub you and grab your face. You got them. No, sitting there. This fuck. And they always say shit you don't understand. Hey, you want a little cosímero win? Hey, Paolo, fix him a little Buenos Aires. Put some struzzi on. Fry it up. They like fried.
Richard Pryor he's super influential and one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. He kind of pioneered this way of telling stories that is imitated to this day by a lot of people. He acts out things perfectly. I mean, the mafia joke is one of the best jokes of all time. And look, Richard Pryor, he's not my demographic, of course, but the way he tells stories and the way he makes fun out of pretty dark and depressing situations, he is 100% one of the GOATs. Absolutely. He goes up there. Who we got next? Dave Chappelle.
Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I am. I'm black. And don't ever forget how I got here. My ancestors were kidnapped. I don't even know where the fuck I'm from. They were put on the bottom. They sailed them across the Atlantic. Many of them died. Only the strongest survived. And once they got here, they beat the humanity out of my people. They turned us into beasts of burdens. They made us do their work. And the irony is, hundreds of years later, they called us lazy. We fought in the Civil War. We damn near freed ourselves. And then in Reconstruction, black people did great. My great-grandfather was a very wealthy man. But then the black coats came, Jim Crow came. There was 100 years of unspeakable oppression again. Lynchings, all kinds of terroristic acts to keep us in the margins of society. And yet we still fought. And Dr. King was born. And then things got better. 20 years after Dr. King was assassinated, Michael Jackson was moonwalking on television. Something. Barack Obama. Donald Trump. Now here we all are.
As far as stand-up comedians go, Dave Chappelle is a master. Stage presence. He's a master coming up with material that is upbeat and provides levity, and he just has this way of speaking where you could listen to him speak for days. I'm fairly confident that there's record that he went into clubs when he was making a comeback from leaving the Chappelle show where he did stand up for like 8 hours, something silly like that. I was fortunate enough to go see him in Melbourne the year that he came to Australia, and man, he made a show that went for 1 hour feel like 10 minutes. He has an incredible way with words, and he's one of those comedians that just has everything perfect. Like the way he uses phrases and the way he elevates his voice and then brings it down to fit in with moments. He is like pound for pound the best stand-up comedian of all time. Yeah, there's no ifs or buts about it. He is the best at what he does. He's someone that whenever he comes up on my YouTube feed, whenever he comes through Netflix, gotta watch him. One of the GOATs, absolutely. Dave Chappelle. Oh, how about a palate cleanser?
That Neverland documentary with Michael Jackson? Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck? You gotta blame the parents. You absolutely have to blame the parents. What the fuck were you thinking? If Michael Jackson, in his prime, walked up to my doorstep, rang the doorbell, was like, hey, how's it going? Do you mind if I take time after 30 days? I'm like, you got your goddamn mind? Fuck no! Better moonwalk the fuck back down, man! Now, if Drake came to my house,
that's even worse.
I swear to God, if Drake came to my house, like, yo, bud. You mind if I take your son for 30 days? I'm like, damn, you guys run through the 6 and shit? Michael Bublé shows up like, you better get the fuck on. Keep making Christmas albums. I'm like, damn, Michael Bublé. I don't know where that Michael Jackson bit came from. I'm a bad person.
Brendan Schaub. Look, he's not good. And that's been well established at this point. He has quit stand-up, I'm pretty sure. And he's not a great comedian. He kind of got forced into it from his buddy, Joe Rogan. After 3 years, he had his first stand-up special. It was terrible. Put out another one, the Gringo Papi, that's right. And that performance was so bad that it's good. And what I mean by that is I've rewatched it maybe 4 or 5 times. It is the ultimate comfort watch as a pretty mediocre stand-up comedian who's done open mics and has, had a few showcases on stage myself. It is nice for a comedian such as myself to watch, not for the material, but for the fact that being able to do what he has done is certainly possible. And you know what? Yep, he steals people's material. He's got the Dave Chappelle mic slap in this very video. I'm confident that he would have stole this Michael Jackson Neverland premise. Not that he stole the punchline, because the punchline is quite weak and he went all Drake and Michael Bublé in it. Not a great one, but whatever, that's fine. He would have stole that from Dave Chappelle. He seems to steal a lot of his material from different people. I know he stole a bit from Nick Schwartzman about the fajitas. That's not great, and he's given it up. He is a comfort watch, but yeah, nah. Why would you do this? And I'm kind of sad that he's not doing it anymore, because I like to see him put out more specials. If for nothing, they're fun to hate watch. Okay.
I want to hang a map of the world in my house, and then pins into all the locations that I've traveled to. But first, I'm have to travel to the top 2 corners of the map, so it won't fall down. I get a cold sore. I hate it. I put Carmex on it. Carmex is supposed to heal cold sores. I don't know if it does, but it will make them shiny and more noticeable. It's like cold sore highlighter. Maybe they could come up with an arrow that heals cold sores. I hate arrows, man. Don't you? Imagine being killed by a bow and arrow. That would suck. An arrow killed you, they would never solve the crime. Look at that dead guy. Let's go that way.
The brain of Mitch Hedberg is one that we will probably never see ever again, if not in my lifetime. He is a genius, and he tells jokes like it's jazz. His phonation and the way he pronounces certain things and the way he comes across, everything about him is just a little bit eccentric, a little bit off, but infinitely funny. His material is always so strong. Whenever I get Mitch Hedberg stuff recommended to me on YouTube, I will watch the shit out of it, because it is infinitely rewatchable. His one-liners are the best. And I am very proud to say that, I used to love Mitch Hedberg. I still do, but I used to too. Not a good one from me, but he's one of the GOATs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's next? We're hitting him.
A guy told me, he's just talking about him. Remember, he's like, you got to try hypnosis, man. He goes, I did that, and now I don't smoke no more, Guy whisper in my ear, and then that's it. I don't smoke. I don't want to smoke anymore. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that because, because some people are susceptible to hypnosis and some people aren't. And I'd hope that I'm not. You know what I mean? That if a guy whispered in my ear, because I've seen it on the TV. Guy whisper in the ear, lady's a fucking duck. So I don't want to be one of those people, So, smoking's bad for you. But on the other hand, I don't want to be going like, man, I quit smoking. It's the best thing in the world. Man, I don't smoke. I don't even want to smoke. The bad news is, turns out I have no free will. Just whatever a fucking guy whispers in my ear. If he tells me to blow a guy, I'll fucking blow a guy. I don't want to blow a guy, but told me to.
Not only is Norm Macdonald a comedian's comedian, but Norm Macdonald is a comedian at their purest. As in somebody who relies on funny no matter what. I think there's only 1 or 2 interviews or him being on record where he's actually serious. And one of them is a tweet replying to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is just something else. I mean, another one. I will rewatch him constantly because he always puts funny first. And this is one of those things where comedians tend to sometimes now be a little bit preachy and try to push a message and whatnot. But Norm Macdonald never was like that. Always someone who put humor at the heart of everything. Even the fact that, in his death, he had cancer and nobody knew about it. He kept it a secret for years and years. I think he fought with cancer for 10 years before he drew with it when he passed away. One of the best. I read his memoir expecting to have, a little short autobiography from him. And the whole thing is just him making up bullshit and telling dumb, funny, and not true stories. And yeah, he's a GOAT, man. So good. I suggest if you do want to listen to more Norm, have a look at the highlights and greatest clips of Norm Macdonald live. There's a really good YouTube channel. I'm Not Norm has a lot of clips of Norm Macdonald in compilations, and the man's something else. Joan Rivers, here we go.
And it kills me because I now am a widow, and that means I'm a widow now 3 years, and I'm starting to date. You don't know what it's like, especially men, because it's a man's world. Every man, let me tell you, in this room, I don't care how old you are, as long as you live, you're a catch. Do you understand how lucky you are? We have an extra man. Bring him along. He's 98. Bring him. He's dead. Bring him. We'll prop him. A woman, and now I go to singles bars. Are you married? Do you know you like young guys? I do not. I just like a guy that breathes. I have guys. I had a guy that was so old he picked me up in a hearse. I mean, it's like we went to dinner. I made him pay in advance. I got nervous. Do you know? I mean, and to have to meet men. I went into a bar. I said to a guy, lonesome. He said, not that lonesome.
Joan Rivers, very, very funny. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not overly familiar with much of her material. I know her stuff from things like The View and whatnot, but I know that she is hilarious, very influential for female comedians all around, and one of the best. I'm a little bit hesitant to label her as the GOAT, not having seen much of her material, but to a lot of people, she is one of the best of all time. So I want to say that she definitely may deserve it. So moving on, Louis C.K.
I was having sex with this woman, and she was about 35, and we're in bed. She starts calling me daddy. I was like, please don't, young lady. Please don't do that. She said, why does it make you uncomfortable when I call you daddy during sex? Is it because you have daughters? I said, no. It makes me uncomfortable because I have a father, and I used to call him daddy when he fucked me. By the way, thanks for laughing at me because I got fucked by my dad. I was not laughing at the time because I was coming because he fucked me good. My daddy fucked me so good. It's not his fault. I made him do it. I was such a brat. I was 10. I was like, Daddy, fuck me! Poor guy. He's like, I know I'm spoiling this child, but I can't.
If you're into your dark humor, then Louis C.K. is absolutely one of the GOATs. Me personally, he's not my flavor, and I'm not a huge fan of dark humor, more or less, but I know that he, for many people, is one of the greatest of all time. Sadly, I'm of the belief that he has tarnished his legacy with the whole scandal that came out about him, and it's hard to separate the two now. I know he's kind of moved away from the spotlight, and he's got his own bookings and his own shows, his own email list, and that's very successful. There's no denying that. He's very influential. In my honest opinion, I feel like his legacy has been tarnished by controversy, and for that reason, it affects his GOAT status. He's definitely very funny, if not one of the greatest of all time, but it's hard to separate the two. I'm sorry if you're a Louis C.K. fan. I know he does great stuff. It's not my flavor, not my flavor. Bert Kreischer.
We were playing categories one time. You know where you roll the dice, letter comes up, fill out all the categories? Me, George, we roll the letter N. I look at Isla. First one is U.S. states. I go, Isla, what did you put for U.S. states to start with N? And she goes, couldn't think of one. I go, you're in 8th grade. You couldn't think of one state that started with the letter N? And she goes, no, could you? And I go, yeah, Nevada. She goes, never heard. I go, Georgia, what did you put? She goes, New Hampshire. I was like, Isla, is that a state? I thought that was a Providence. Next one's street names. I go, Isla, what'd you put for street names to start with letter N? And she goes, Nebraska. I'm like, bitch, that's what I put. I go, Georgia, what did you put for street names to start with the letter N? And she goes, I think I did this wrong. I go, what did you put for street names to start with the letter N, Georgia? And she goes, I don't want to tell you guys. I think I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm like, no, you're definitely fucking telling us. She goes, I wrote Notorious B.I.G. Wasn't that his street name?
That's a real open mic joke to tell, but it's on his page, so we'll give it to him. Bert Kreischer has really coasted off that whole machine story. That's really his only good bit of material. And to be honest, it's not even that great of a story. I'm not a huge fan of Bert Kreischer. I know a lot of people froth him. He just strikes me as very obnoxious, very self-obsessed, and I don't like that in my comedians. I sounds so weird, but I prefer them to be a bit more humble. I don't like the fact that he performs without a shirt. Why? I know it's funny because he's a bit overweight and this and that, but I don't know. It just feels like a person who's craving attention and craving laughs, and when you try to force that, it doesn't come across as very sincere, nor does it come across as very likable. Yeah, look, he's not the worst, but he's certainly not great. Even I know there's like footage or a photo of him. He pooped himself on stage and then he showed it up to the crowd. That's just plain fucking disgusting. So yeah, not my taste at all. Not bad. Joe Rogan.
I think the dumbest argument that aliens aren't real, people go, if aliens are real, why don't they just land on the White House lawn? Oh, well, when you go fishing, do you check in with the president of the lake? No, you just trick those dummies with fake food, and then you pull them out by their lips and take pictures of them, and you drop them back off in the water, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? Exact same things the aliens do to us. I think aliens look at us the same way we look at Waffle House fights. They just observe, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, look, Joe Rogan. I really wanted to like his stand-up because I actually didn't know he was a comedian until I started watching his podcasts with comedians in there. And that's pretty telling because Joe Rogan isn't very funny on his podcast, to be honest. And during his stand-up, he's not very funny either. He's not a very strong comedian, I'm trying to say. A lot of jokes go over his head. This special in particular, I think it's the Burn the Boats one. This one is a really bad one. He doesn't really have great material, nor is it strong. You know what he strikes me as? He strikes me as someone who is, admittedly, he's obsessed with performer Sam Kinison, who uses screaming a lot in his sets. And he just kind of coasts off of that and tries to do his best Sam Kinison impression. Doesn't strike me as particularly good. He's not terrible. I wouldn't say he's not bad, but I would put him in the pretty good category. He's just average. Just average. Tammy Pescatelli. Let's have a listen.
My grandfather used to be in the mob. Now he's retired. He gets a little mob pension. Once a month, a truck drives by and a VCR and some dresses fall off. So cute. He just doesn't understand the show business thing. Like, I filmed this television show. I was so proud of myself. Out of respect, first call, I was so proud. I was like, Papa, I shot a pilot. He goes, oh, my God, don't say that over the phone. It was terrible. I kept trying. I still tried. I was like, Papa, no, TV pilot. He goes, I don't care what airline. You call me back from a payphone. I ain't going down because you get sloppy.
I really like that. Very original. Very good material. Over the phone. I'm a big fan of Tammy Pescatelli. I've never really seen much of her stuff, but I've heard good things. Strike me as very original, very honest, very funny. I like that. Andrew Schulz.
Boy dad is easy. Who got boys here? Anybody got boys? You got boys, got boys. Because you could not love your son and he'll be greater. We don't like to admit it, but that is the key to having a successful male. Just remove the dad completely. It's guaranteed success. It never fails. LeBron James, Jeff Bezos, Jesus, none of them had their dads in their lives. Coincidence? You get Pop out the way, miracles start happening. If Jesus' dad was in his life, he would be a carpenter. Facts. He would be Jesus. He wouldn't be on the cross. He'd be building them motherfuckers, though. Hey, it's fucking strong. You can hang anything from here, bro.
That was a great bout of material. Andrew Schulz is one of those crowd work comedians who kind of made his name for himself through crowd work things and bits on YouTube and Instagram, and I think maybe he's on TikTok, but he started putting up clips of his crowd work without having to burn his material on YouTube, and it became successful, and he was known for that. His material is recent ones especially. I haven't seen his new special, to be honest. I've just seen that joke, and that was really good, to be honest. So I do have to watch it, but I prefer his crowd work to his actual written material because he has a real problem of stepping on his own jokes, which is a real pet peeve of mine. And you'll notice it in a lot of his specials where he'll tell a joke and quickly try to underplay it by saying, guys. He'll say guys a lot, and that underplays his punchlines when he could really just let them breathe. So for me, he loses points in that. But he's good. He's very funny. I really enjoy him. The Flagrant podcasts are good when they have wrestlers on them. Who we got next? Maria Bamford.
There's seen like an empty storefront and you can't tell what it is. Like it's called like the Vineyard or Family Victory or the Rock. There's a new building in my house called the Rock. You guys handing out some flyers outside. You coming on down to the Rock this weekend? We got live music, food, drinks, stuff for the kids. That sounds like church. No, it's a teen center where it's a community-based health initiatives and a pregnancy. Yeah, it's church. I wouldn't get mad, but they have tried to trick me.
Want to come to a show? It's a clean show.
Sure, where's it at?
Cool new coffee shop.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Crossroads. No!
Stop lurking behind your Jimi Hendrix font. If they want to get the numbers in and do the switcheroo, just call it something everybody wants to go to.
You coming on down to Sex Hole?
Yes! Shouldn't have to advertise. Sex Hole? Everybody wants to go to Sex Hole. What's going on inside?
Well, you gonna come on in to find out.
That sounds like church.
Maria Bamford, aka Cynthia Douglas from Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule. Very funny. It's not my flavor, but it's very funny. She's got an alternative style and she's very open and honest, especially in her later years. And I find her really good. I really enjoy her. Part of one of the very funny ones. And now that leads us to last and certainly least.
Oh my God.
All right, you see? It shocks you to see what's buried beneath your stupid motherfuckers.
Hours before my first ever open mic performance when I did stand-up comedy, had an irrational fear that somehow I would reproduce this rant from Kramer. That is one of the weirdest meltdowns of all time. I mean, how do you even think that that would even remotely be conceived as a funny performance? And even the apology when Jerry Seinfeld went on Letterman later, icing on the cake. I mean, absolutely hilarious. This is the stand-up rant that ruined Kramer's career, Michael Richards' career. And there is no one better that can bring this kind of point up than Dave Chappelle, who is talking on this exact same stage.
Truth, when I seen Kramer's tape, I learned about myself. You know what I learned? I think I'm only like 20% black and 80% comedian. You know what I mean? And black dudes can relate. You know what I mean, bro? Like when you saw that shit, you was furious, right? Black dude me was like, Kramer, you motherfucker. Like, I was hurt. And the comedian me was just like, whew. Niggas having a bad set. Hang in there, Kramer. Don't let him break you, Kramer. Oh, I wish I was there so bad. Because you know in the back of his mind, he was thinking, I'll get him the next show. There won't be a next show, Kramer.
To turn something as terrible like that into a very funny story is why Dave Chappelle is one of the GOATs. Goodness me. I will show you Michael Richards. This is from 1993. At the height of his Seinfeld fame when he was the most popular character on Seinfeld. But have a look at this.
But a friend of mine, he comes over to my house 2 weeks ago. He says, you know, Mike, you really ought to work out. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Well, you know, I got this coupon. You go down to the gym, you know, work out with the equipment, get in shape. So I took the coupon. It's free, you know. I went down there. I showed it to this big guy, you know. He had huge arms, big arms. His arm, look. Look at this. Now, this is my thigh right here. That's how big his arm was. Look at my arm. Look at this. This is how big his thumb was. And he had no neck. The neck was gone. That's what flipped me, man. And he started talking to somebody. You know, I had to get in there close to check this out. I couldn't believe it, man. Oh, man, the guy's got no neck. And he turned, you know, he started to evaluate me. And he tells me right off the bat, he tells me my neck is too small. Oh, yeah? He told me that I had to get on the neck crunch. Yeah, what's that? He shows me this harness. It's a leather harness. They put it on your head here. Strap it here. There's a chain that comes off the front of it. I'm not making this up. It's attached to a 20-pound weight. And I'm supposed to...
That whole performance was him basically playing Kramer at the height of the Seinfeld. How did that become the N-word rant? Completely bizarre to me. I would have liked to have seen the footage before Kramer started going off at those people, because surely it couldn't be that bad. He's very deserving of why would you do this? And I know he obviously doesn't do that now and he kind of cancelled himself, but yeah, what a bad one to end it. But anyway, the tier list is now created. We have our GOATs, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Mitch Hedberg, and Norm Macdonald, and our three people that should definitely give up stand-up comedy if they haven't already: Brendan Shaw, Kramer, and David Lucas. So there we have it. Please, if you like this kind of video, I'd love if you subscribed, and if you wanted to suggest any other comedians or any other tier lists, any other videos you want me to make, then please feel free to let me know in the comments. Otherwise, see you later.